This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody. There are a lot of women who've experienced what I did.
Have you ever wondered which Hollywood stars secretly give off full-on psychopathic energy? The red carpets, fame, and paparazzi can mask some of the most disturbing behaviors lurking beneath the surface. But what happens when those A-listers trade their glamour for chaos, crime, and downright bizarre actions? Today, we're peeling back the layers of 25 Hollywood stars who have exhibited some disturbing traits. Starting at number 25, Shaun Penn. Shaun Penn. Sure, the guy's won Oscars and played some iconic roles, but off-screen, the dude has got more red flags than a toxic relationship. Let's rewind to his charming marriage with Madonna in the 80s. You would think it was all glamorous, but nah. Shaun allegedly took things to a baseball bat level. Reports say he tied her to a chair and beat her for hours. She eventually dropped the charges, but yeah, not exactly your Hollywood love story. And it doesn't stop there. Penn's vibe on movie sets, straight up diva dictator. One story goes that his assistant literally walked into a family's home where they were filming and announced, "No talking, no eye contact, and don't even look at Shaun Penn." Then Shaun waltzed in, ignored everyone, and dipped like an A-lister ghost. For someone who claims to be intense, Penn takes it way too far, turning method acting into a full-on lifestyle of chaos and control. Number 24, Suge Knight. Suge Knight, the man, the myth, the walking mafia movie. As CEO of Death Row Records, Suge didn't just drop hit albums. He ran the label like a mob boss with zero chill.
Let all the little young guys know if they come to Death Row and they produce the track, they get their credibility, they get their money. Same thing with the artists. That's one vision we have, and that's what we're definitely doing right now.
Let's start with the Vanilla Ice story, because it's straight out of a bad action movie. Suge allegedly dangled Vanilla Ice off a hotel balcony by his ankles, demanding he sign a contract. And that's not even the wildest thing. Fast forward to 2015, during the filming of Straight Outta Compton, Suge showed up to the set uninvited, got into a fight, and then ran over two dudes with his truck. His defense? It was an accident. Sure, Suge, and I'm Beyonce. Now he's serving 28 years for manslaughter. But let's be real, Suge's reign of terror made it clear he wasn't just a businessman. He was a one-man crime wave.
Developing news now, former rap mogul Suge Knight is headed to prison for voluntary manslaughter. He ran down a man in the parking lot of a Compton burger stand about 3 years ago, and today...
Number 23, Wendy Williams. Oh, Wendy Williams, the queen of messy talk show moments. But honestly, her off-screen antics are even messier. Like, remember that time she casually said her son walked in on her, being intimate with her husband? And instead of stopping, she just kept going. Yep, she actually said that out loud. Then there's her on-air chaos energy. 1 second she's laughing, the next she's crying, and somewhere in between, she's burping and farting at the same time. Iconic? Maybe. Unstable? Definitely. Wendy's lack of boundaries and those wild overshares have people side-eyeing her mental state. Is it eccentricity, or is Wendy just out here riding the thin line between quirky and downright unhinged? Either way, she keeps us watching. Number 22, Grace Park. Grace Park, the sci-fi queen from Battlestar Galactica and Hawaii Five-0, might look like she's got it all together. But plot twist, she was deep into the NXIVM cult. Yeah, the one with branding, sex trafficking, and enough manipulation to make your skin crawl. Grace wasn't just a member, she was all in. She gussed about cult leader Keith Rainier, like he was a genius while everyone else was out here being coerced into some horrifying rituals. Oh, and she even recruited others to join, which is like sending invites to the worst party ever. What's wild is how loyal she stayed, even when the truth came out. Most people ran for the hills, but Grace? She stuck around way too long, proving her moral compass was seriously off. Number 21, Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is Hollywood's king of chaotic energy.
You limp into the dark woods, blood oozing from your stump leg. You've beaten Shia LaBeouf.
Wait, he isn't dead. Shy surprise, there's a gun to your head and death in his eyes.
But let's not sugarcoat it. The guy's got some dark vibes. One ex-girlfriend claimed Shia would drive around LA hunting stray dogs for target practice. Like, what in the actual psychopath? Then there's his traumatic childhood. Shia's dad reportedly beat him mercilessly as a kid, and later, Shia revealed he was sexually assaulted during one of his art stunts. Heartbreaking, sure, but here's the thing. Those traumas don't excuse the dangerous behavior he's shown as an adult. Oh, and let's not forget his poop-eating dog, because apparently even his pets are as unhinged as he is. Shia's story is a weird cocktail of talent, trauma, and straight-up psycho energy. Number 20, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, queen of rap, neon wigs, and enough drama to fuel 1,000 reality shows. On the surface, she's a powerhouse of talent, but dig a little deeper and you'll find a level of narcissism that could give the dictionary a run for its definition. Let's start with the obvious. Nicki's obsession with being number one. Her need for constant validation, through the roof. Whether it's showing off flashy cars, bragging about her chart toppers, or taking public digs at anyone who dares to challenge her. Hi, Cardi B. Nicki plays the game like there's only room for one queen. And when someone threatens her throne, she's not above manipulation. Case in point, reports that she told collaborators, if you work with Cardi B, don't bother working with me. Like, petty much? Then there's how she used her sexuality as a weapon. From her image to her lyrics, Nicki's built a career on controlling the narrative and staying in charge. But it's not just about being sexy. It's about wielding power, bending people to her will, and making sure she stays in the spotlight.
And I realized that it's in my power to navigate the industry the way I want to, you know? And I think I was giving other people and other entities the power, over how my career was being navigated. And now I'm not doing that. I choose now to enjoy every moment of everything I'm doing.
And let's talk about her insecurity. For someone who projects so much confidence, Nicki's fear of losing her status is palpable. Real-life stories of her backstabbing colleagues and playing victim whenever things don't go her way just reinforce the idea that her world revolves around, well, her. Nicki's got the talent, no doubt about it, but her need for control, constant attention, and tendency to burn bridges show that her crown isn't just glitter, it's built on manipulation and domination. Psychopath? Maybe not textbook, but she's definitely playing in the same league. Tired of expensive, low-effort scriptwriters for your YouTube channel? Autoscripter.ai is the ultimate solution. Say goodbye to low-quality, poorly retention amateur scripts that fail to generate thousands of views for your channel. At a fraction of the cost, Autoscripter.ai helps your videos go viral. In just 3 steps, Autoscripter.ai creates a polished script tailored to your needs. Just input your title concept, select your tone and style. The intuitive interface makes editing and refining effortless, fast, smart, and trusted by hundreds of satisfied users who have already discovered the amazing tool. Start your free trial today and watch Autoscripter.ai transform your YouTube channel. Just click the link in the video description below now. Number 19, Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal, the man who went from action hero to full-on delusional narcissistic psychopath. You probably remember him from his martial arts skills, but his real-life behavior? Yeah, that's what makes him stand out as one of Hollywood's most dangerous psychopaths.
May I ask one more question as well?
Yeah, sure.
I know that you're a Zen master. What is the essence of Zen?
For starters, Seagal's ego is larger than life. He literally started to talk like a different person, adopting a bizarre 1940s-era black man accent that made zero sense even to the most diehard fans. Talk about an identity crisis. His behavior on set is infamous, bullying stuntmen, being an insufferable diva, and holding a belief that no one, not even his peers, could be better than him. But here is where it gets seriously weird. In one Saturday Night Live sketch, Seagal pitched the idea of a rape therapist, a character who would rape a woman a second time in order to help her overcome the trauma. Yes, you heard that right. And when fellow cast member Al Franken called him out, telling him the idea was so offensive it would make the entire studio walk out, and Seagal's response was a tough guy stare and an assertion that no one got his brilliance. The man is a psychopath with a gigantic ego, and his real-life behavior has made it clear. He lives in a world of his own delusions, where he is untouchable, invincible, and always right. And let's not forget the disturbing rumors about his personal life. Allegations of sexual abuse and connections to questionable figures like Vladimir Putin, all pointing to a man with an ego so inflated that it's bordering on psychopathy. Number 18, Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway is iconic in Hollywood, but don't be fooled by her screen presence. The actress, best known for her roles in Bonnie and Clyde and Chinatown, has been described as having the kind of behavior that makes people wish they could pull a disappearing act. Dunaway has built a reputation not just for her talent, but for being impossibly difficult to work with. Her temperament on set is legendary, blowing up at crew members, refusing to follow direction, and throwing tantrums when things don't go her way. But what makes Dunaway stand out as a psychopath isn't just her erratic behavior. It's her complete lack of empathy for anyone else, especially when she is in the middle of a meltdown. Her infamous behavior has led many to believe she exhibits signs of narcissism and sociopathy. She always demands the spotlight, throws others under the bus, and pushes people aside for her image's sake. A Hollywood star through and through, but at what cost? Dunaway's career sure has made her famous, but her psychopathic tendencies kept her infamous for all the wrong reasons. Number 17, Salman Khan. Salman Khan, the Bollywood megastar, is known for his charity work and his billion-dollar box office hit. But there is a much darker side to the man who has been called the bad boy of Bollywood. Khan's history of violent outbursts, erratic behavior, and self-centered attitudes point to something much deeper. This is a man who has had multiple run-ins with the law, including charges related to poaching wildlife, drunk driving, and even hit-and-run accidents. Khan's reputation as a bully on set is well known. He has been accused of making everyone around him walk on eggshells to avoid his wrath. He has a God complex and often treats people as if they were disposable. He shows the kind of malignant narcissism that's downright psychopathic. In his personal life, Khan has been linked to violent relationships, and his arrogance in the face of controversy only solidifies the idea that he feels untouchable. His manipulation of people to get his way, coupled with his lack of remorse for his actions, showcases the dark traits of a psychopathic personality. Number 16, Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson was once one of YouTube's biggest personalities, but behind the scenes, his actions were downright disturbing. From racist past videos to questionable content that left many stars disgusted.
Hey, want to hear a black joke? Why is Stevie Wonder always smiling? Because he doesn't know he's a n***.
Yo, what did you just say?
Ooh, you don't sound happy.
Dawson has shown the kind of behavior that can only be described as psychopathic. His constant need for attention and validation was clear in every video. But what really stands out is his lack of empathy, especially when it came to the people he manipulated and hurt for the sake of fame. He is obsessed with maintaining his public image and will do anything to protect it, even if it means throwing others under the bus or avoiding any real accountability for his actions. Dawson's behavior is a textbook example of how narcissism can take a dark, twisted turn into psychopathy using others as pawns in his quest for adoration, while completely disregarding the damage he causes. His career, which once seemed untouchable, is now hanging by a thread, and for good reason. Shane Dawson's path to fame may have been built on manipulation, but his psychopathic tendencies will be what ultimately take him down. Number 15. Charlie Chaplin. Alright, let's talk about Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, the guy who made us all laugh without saying a word. But his personal life? Oh boy, it's like a bad soap opera that no one asked for. Chaplin had a thing for very young women, and by thing, I mean he was marrying teenagers left and right. 4 marriages, folks, 4. One of his wives was just 15 when they got hitched. 15! Most of these marriages weren't exactly romantic comedies. They were more like damage control because, surprise, surprise, he kept getting them pregnant. And if he wasn't totally into the relationship, he'd just check out emotionally. Not a great look, Charlie. And on set, Chaplin was no angel. Nowadays, a lot of his behavior would be slapped with a giant HR violation stamp. He loved to push his power around, and if you crossed him, good luck. His need for control was off the charts, and it screams classic I'm the boss psychopathic energy. Yeah, his childhood was rough, poverty, an alcoholic dad, and a mom who struggled with mental health. But does that give him a free pass for creeping on teenagers and throwing tantrums on set? Nope. Chaplin might have been a genius in front of the camera, but behind it, he was giving off some serious red flag vibes. Number 14. Ian Watkins. Ian Watkins, lead singer for Lost Prophets, went from emo heartthrob to actual nightmare fuel. Like, this dude didn't just flirt with psychopathy. He threw a full-on wedding with it. Let's start with his rock star ego. He acted like he was untouchable, bragging about his fancy lawyers, and acting like the law didn't apply to him. Classic narcissist move, right? But then the world found out who he really was. And spoiler alert, it was way worse than anyone imagined. In 2012, Watkins got hit with charges that were so disgusting, they make you want to take a shower just reading about them. Attempted rape of a baby, child pornography, extreme animal stuff I'm not even going to repeat here. Like, wow! The guy was an actual monster hiding behind his band's success.
This investigation has uncovered the most shocking and harrowing child abuse evidence I've ever seen. There is no doubt in my mind that Ian Watkins has exploited his celebrity status in order to abuse young children.
He's now serving 29 years in prison, but honestly, that's way too short for someone who redefined the term absolute psycho. Ian Watkins isn't just a psychopath, he's a walking horror story. Number 13. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, America's dad. The wholesome sweater guy, except behind all that charm was one of the most twisted predators Hollywood has ever seen. Cosby didn't just have a dark side, he had an entire shadow realm. Over 60 women came forward sharing eerily similar stories. His MO? Invite them to a party, which, spoiler alert, wasn't a party. Drug them, and then do unspeakable things while they were unconscious. Most victims woke up confused, nauseous, and horrified, realizing they'd been assaulted by the very man America trusted with its laughs.
80-year-old Bill Cosby was found guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting Temple University employee Andrea Constand. She left the courtroom beaming. In addition to Constand, 5 other women testified they were sexually assaulted by Cosby in past years. Several of his alleged victims were in tears after the verdict came down.
The creepiest part? Cosby used his squeaky clean image as a shield. People didn't believe the victims because, hey, it's Dr. Huxtable, right? That level of manipulation is straight up psychopathic. Behind those dad jokes was a man driven by control and malice, and he knew exactly how to play his audience. Number 12, Christian Bale. Christian Bale, one of the best actors of our time, sure, but also a total hothead with a shorter fuse than a firecracker. The guy's temper tantrums are legendary, and they've earned him a reputation as Hollywood's unofficial rage monster. Remember his meltdown on the Terminator Salvation set? A director of photography walked into his shot, and Bale lost it. Like we're talking a full-blown multi-minute rant that could have made Gordon Ramsay blush. That wasn't a one-time thing either. The dude's been nicknamed Tandy on sets because of his epic tantrums. And let's not forget the 2008 incident where he allegedly went off on his own mom and sister during a family argument. No charges were filed, but yikes, right? Bale's perfectionism is one thing, but the guy has some serious control issues. When things don't go his way, he doesn't just get mad, he erupts. It's giving angry dictator vibes. And while his acting is great, his off-screen behavior has all the hallmarks of someone who's walking a fine line between passionate and, well, psycho. Number 11, Ellen DeGeneres. The queen of daytime TV and the dancing lesbian icon made us all believe kindness was her brand. But let's be real for a second. Behind that oversized blazer and toothy grin, Ellen has a way of making people feel, not so great.
I'm a comedian who got a talk show, and I ended the show every day by saying, be kind to one another. Had I ended my show by saying, go fuck yourselves, people would have been pleasantly surprised to find out I'm kind.
Let's talk about Nancy. You remember Nancy, right? No, that is okay because Ellen made sure Nancy would never forget her 15 minutes of shame. So here's what happened. Ellen set up hidden cameras at her freebie table where audience members could grab one item each. Sounds harmless, right? Enter Nancy, who decided to snag a few extra goodies because, well, why not? But Ellen? Oh no, she wasn't going to let that slide. She put Nancy on blast, dragging her on stage in front of thousands and throwing her into what she called Ellen jail. Yep, she literally made Nancy sit on a random chair on stage and roasted her live on TV. The poor woman was mortified, sitting there while Ellen joked about her bad character and made her the cautionary tale of the day. Like, come on, Ellen, was it really that deep? Even if Nancy went a little overboard with the freebies, the whole thing felt more like a public shaming festival than a light-hearted joke. And sadly, Ellen seemed to love it. But hey, that's kind of Ellen's thing. This wasn't a one-off moment. It is a pattern. If Ellen doesn't like you, she makes sure everyone knows it. Remember when Caitlyn Jenner came on her show? Ellen made this awkwardly subtle dig about Jenner's views on LGBTQ+ issues, framing it as a joke but clearly throwing shade. And then there is Game of Games, where Ellen's contestants are literally strapped into machines, shaken like rag dolls, and drenched in slime while she sits back and cackles. I mean, sure, it's supposed to be funny, but watching Ellen laugh as people scream for mercy, yeah, not exactly the vibe of someone brimming with empathy. The thing is, Ellen's charm has always been her biggest weapon. She smiles, she cracks jokes, and she convinces you it is all in good fun. But let's call it what it is, manipulation. She uses humor to control, humiliate, and keep everyone in check. Number 10, Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr, TV's queen of controversy. She has always been loud, unapologetic, and let's face it, a bit too much. Back in the 90s, she accused her parents of molestation, a claim she didn't retract for nearly 2 decades. And that is just the tip of the chaos iceberg. Roseanne has openly claimed she has multiple personalities and even spent time in a mental ward. So yeah, quirky doesn't even begin to cover it. ABC brought her back for the Roseanne reboot, but honestly, why? She has always been a walking PR nightmare. Even during the original show, there were whispers about firing her, but her co-star John Goodman and Laurie Metcalf stayed loyal. Fast forward to her Twitter scandals. She self-destructed, lost control of her own creation, and handed the rights to the Connors cast and crew just to keep them employed.
I'm a bad girl. I'm too rock and roll. I'm going to say it and you till I take my last breath.
ABC fired Roseanne from her reboot of The Roseanne Show in 2018 after she sent out a vile tweet deemed racist about former President Obama's senior advisor, Valerie Jarrett. After the blowback, Roseanne tweeted an apology and said she was under the influence of Ambien.
What is wild is that her train wreck of a career started with actual genius. Her stand-up comedy and early TV work were groundbreaking. But between potential dementia, a traumatic brain injury from her teens, and her own worst enemy tendencies, Roseanne's legacy is a cocktail of brilliance and complete disaster. Number 9. R. Kelly. Once the king of R&B, R. Kelly is now the king of courtroom scandals. This guy didn't just flirt with controversy, he married it. Let's start with the illegal marriage to a 15-year-old Elijah when he was 27. He literally bribed a government official for a fake ID to make it happen. Age ain't nothing but a number. Yeah, that album title hit a little too close to home. But that is just the warm-up. R. Kelly's career was a smokescreen for decades of horrifying abuse. He didn't just write songs, he orchestrated a sex cult. Girls as young as 13 were allegedly lured in under the pretense of mentorship, only to be manipulated, abused, and isolated from their families. Parents described him as brainwashing their daughters, controlling every aspect of their lives, from what they wore to when they could use the bathroom. And then there is the infamous tape. In 2002, a video surfaced showing Kelly with an underage girl. Despite clear evidence, his team dragged the trial out for 6 years. By the time it ended, the jury couldn't confirm the girl's age, and Kelly walked free. Talk about a broken justice system. Fast forward to the Surviving R. Kelly documentary in 2019, which exposed the full scope of his predatory behavior. The world finally took notice, and his house of cards crumbled. In 2021, he was found guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking that sent him to a 30-year prison sentence. And just when you thought it was over, another trial in Chicago slapped him with 20 more years for child pornography and sexual exploitation. What makes it even more chilling is his own backstory. Kelly revealed in his autobiography that he was sexually abused as a child by a female family member. It is a tragic start, but it doesn't excuse the monster he became. Right now, he is serving time in one of the toughest prisons in the UK, where he'll have plenty of time to reflect, if psychopaths are even capable of that. Number 8. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, the Braveheart dude, with a knack for epic movies and even bigger controversies. We're talking violent rants, DUIs, and enough public meltdowns to make a reality TV star blush. His infamous audio recordings with ex-girlfriend Oksana Grigorieva are straight up terrifying. Screaming threats, violent outbursts, it is all there.
I don't work around in tight clothes. I stay at home for most of the time.
Public, and it's a embarrassment to me. You look like a honey, and if you get raped by a pack, it'll be your fault. All right? Because you provoked it. You are provocatively dressed all the time with your fake boobs. You feel you have to show off in tight outfits and tight pants and stuff. You see your from behind. And that green thing today was enough. That's provocative. Okay?
Then there is his struggle with alcoholism. Mel's admitted that booze runs in the family, and it has landed him in trouble more than once. Remember that 2006 DUI arrest? Not just a drunk driving moment. He spouted anti-Semitic slurs to the arresting officer. Classy. Oh, and his films? Gut-wrenchingly violent. From Braveheart to The Passion of the Christ. It's like Mel has an obsession with suffering and martyrdom. Add to that his own admission of bipolar disorder. And you got a guy who is as complicated as the characters he plays, minus the redemption arc. Number 7, Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty, Hollywood's OG playboy and control freak, rolled into one. This dude didn't just date women, he collected them. According to one biography, Beatty allegedly slept with over 12,000 women. Like, how did he even find the time? But it is not just the numbers, it is the behavior. Actress Joan Collins claims he spiked her drink on their first date, leading to what she described as a degrading and awful experience. Charming, right? And it wasn't just his love life that screamed psycho vibes. On film sets, Batty's obsession with control ruined both movies and relationships. One ex described him as needing to dictate everything, from hair and makeup to her entire life. Seductive, manipulative, and narcissistic, that is Batty's legacy in a nutshell. Number 6, Dr. Phil McGraw. The self-proclaimed guru of fixing lives except his own is the one needing some serious therapy.
I look at what you're doing on the internet, and it tells me that if you valued yourself more, if you truly thought you were better and deserved better, you would require more of yourself.
Behind the cameras and his soothing southern drawl lies a history of control, manipulation, and enough red flags to start a parade. Let's kick things off with his first marriage. Phil's ex-wife described him as terrifying and very controlling. He allegedly dictated every aspect of her life, what she ate, what she wore, and even when she could use the bathroom. Yep, you heard that right. He reportedly put her on a strict calorie count and forced her into a weightlifting routine. Unsurprisingly, the marriage was short-lived, but the psychological scars lingered. And then there is his daytime TV show. On the surface, it looks like a platform to help struggling individuals. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find a pattern of exploitation. Many guests, particularly women, have spoken out about feeling gaslit and humiliated on national television. Women who came to him seeking help for abusive relationships were often dismissed with lines like, "You don't mean that," when they expressed their desire to leave their abusers. Meanwhile, male guests were given far more leeway to express their frustrations. Subtle misogyny or something deeper? You decide. And let's not forget the way the show treats some of its most vulnerable guests. Remember the infamous Dr. Phil episode with Cash Me Outside girl Danielle Bregoli? Instead of focusing on her underlying issues, the show turned her into a meme and launched her chaotic celebrity career. Exploiting a troubled teen for ratings? Classy Phil. Dr. Phil's approach to helping feels more like a performance than genuine care. The gaslighting, the control, and the relentless pursuit of profit over people's well-being paint a picture of a man who is less therapist and more opportunist. For someone who built a career on fixing others, maybe it is time for Dr. Phil to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Number 5, Jared Leto. Jared Leto isn't just a Hollywood actor and frontman of 30 Seconds to Mars. He is out here running what basically feels like a live-action cult. No kidding, this guy has fans dropping thousands to hang out with him on some fancy island in Croatia, where everyone wears white, calls him Prophet, and probably pretends they're in a weird indie music video. What started as a fun little band camp turned into a full-blown, is this legal? Situation. Like, imagine dishing out your rent money just to vibe in the sun while Jared Leto floats around like a budget messiah. And let's not gloss over the other whispers around Jared. The dude has got a rep for being intense. Fans claim he crosses way too many lines with rumors about him hooking up with groupies and getting a little too aggressive during his offstage activities. Oh, and don't forget his Suicide Squad antics, where he made life hell for his castmates by sending gross pranks like dead animals. Honestly, Jared's giving major chaotic cult leader energy. And the white robes? Yeah, not helping. Number 4, Woody Allen. The OG of Hollywood creeps, and his vibe screams, "I am smarter than everyone else, but in the worst way possible." The guy's whole shtick is playing these neurotic, self-absorbed intellectuals on screen, but it turns out he didn't have to act. In real life, Woody is so wrapped up in himself he probably thinks the world revolves around his black and white film reels. But the real reason Woody's name gives people the ick are the allegations involving his stepdaughter, Dylan Farrow. He was accused of inappropriate behavior when she was just 7, And let's not forget that he was already in therapy for similar behavior before the allegations even hit. A judge straight up called him grossly inappropriate and said he was not to be trusted. Oh, and don't even get me started on how he ended up marrying another of Mia Farrow's adopted kids, Soon Yi. The whole thing is messy on so many levels. Sure, the guy made some classic movies, but let's not kid ourselves. His personal life has all the red flags of someone who belongs on a permanent Hollywood blacklist. Number 3, Allison Mack. Remember Allison Mack from Smallville? Sweet little Chloe. Yeah, plot twist. She was running a sex cult, like straight up trafficking women kind of cult. If that doesn't scream unhinged, I don't know what does. It all started with this sketchy self-help group called NXIVM, pronounced like some bad pharmaceutical drug. Allison was one of the big shots, recruiting women into the group and convincing them it was all about personal growth and empowerment. Spoiler, it wasn't. Turns out, the whole thing was a front for their creepy leader, Keith Raniere, who branded women with his initials and forced them into sex slavery. And guess who was his number one enabler? Yep, Allison.
Ahead of sentencing, former Smallville actress Allison Mack apologized and called her time in NXIVM, quote, the biggest mistake and regret of my life, saying, quote, I devoted my loyalty, my resources, and ultimately my life to him. Him meaning Keith Raniere, NXIVM's leader, sentenced this past fall to 120 years in prison on charges that included sex trafficking. For her role, Mack pleaded guilty to racketeering and racketeering conspiracy charges and worked with prosecutors on the case against Raniere.
She pleaded guilty to racketeering and conspiracy charges. And after snitching on Raniere, she only got a couple of years in prison. Honestly, considering she helped destroy lives, 2 years feels like a slap on the wrist. She's out now, but good luck rebuilding a career when you are literally synonymous with Hollywood cult recruiter. Number 2, Chris Brown. Chris Brown's fall from R&B heartthrob to public enemy number 1 started the night he brutally assaulted Rihanna back in 2009. The details are straight up horrifying. He lost his temper and went full psycho, punching, biting, and threatening to kill her while driving. And this wasn't just a one-off incident. It revealed a pattern of abuse, violent behavior that keeps cropping up every few years like clockwork.
This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody. There are a lot of women who've experienced what I did, but not in the public. So it made it really difficult. I just felt like, oh my God, here goes my little bit of privacy, just exposed. Like, it's something that nobody wants anybody to know.
Since then, it has been an endless parade of restraining orders, assault accusations, and legal drama. And somehow, through all of this, his career survived because, well, people can't let go of a good club anthem. But it doesn't matter how many single hits you drop. There is no excusing the kind of behavior Chris has shown time and time again. Dude has got talent, but he has also got enough baggage to fill an entire airport.
But then I really hit her, like I with a closed fist, like I punched her, you know, and it busted her lip. And when I saw it, I was in shock. I was like, why the hell did I hit her? I loved her, you know. I wanted to protect her because I did too much stuff to her. Like, I did what I did, so it was wrong. That's not me, bro. That's not me.
Number 1, Alec Baldwin. And lastly, Alec Baldwin is like Hollywood's poster child for rage issues. The guy has got more public meltdowns than movie roles at this point, whether he's screaming at random fans, insulting photographers, or leaving his daughter a voicemail calling her a rude, thoughtless little pig. Alec's temper is so out of control it might as well have its own IMDb page. And then there is the Rust movie incident, where a prop gun in Alex's hands killed someone.
Now to our NBC News exclusive, newly revealed footage from the Alec Baldwin movie Rust, showing the actor handling and firing a gun during filming of a scene before the deadly shooting on set. As Chloe Melas reports, it comes as he is potentially facing new charges.
While it is technically being chalked up as an accident, the whole thing is dripping with negligence and raises so many questions. Combine that with his volatile history, and the dude starts to feel like someone who is always one bad day away from complete chaos. Oh, and let's not forget, he is married to Hilaria, the woman who pretended to be Spanish for years. Like, what is going on in that household? Alec is giving big-time, unfiltered chaos energy, and at this point, it is hard to say what'll land him in the headlines next.
The gun was supposed to be empty. I was told I was handed an empty gun.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more untold stories about your favorite or not so favorite Hollywood stars. See you in the next video.